If you take that type of black metal, it was a really good album. They make good music still. Darkthrone made maybe a rock and roll album the last time, but still it was like the albums before that was a really, really great album when it comes to like black metal sense. Rock and roll black metal. Gorgoroth latest album was a great album. If Emperor ever gives up an album, it's going to be a great album. Immortal makes the greatest albums. You know, they are the bands still that are the big bands in the scene. And you have someone like 1349, for example. They are like a newcoming. They've been there for a long time, but they like caught on really in the last 4 or 5 years, and they like still make like really good music. One of the new bands. But you have like this massive amount of music coming, and it's not good. It's like because before it was like a really small community. So if I didn't like what you made, you heard this is crap. So you had to make something better. So you had like an evolution theory in it. The strongest would make the best music. Now it's just like everybody makes something and you just copy somebody else. And so that's like the way it has become for me. It's fun that it's become big, but I think it's really sad that it's also losing a part of itself every year. Because when I hear things like nuclear blast and blah 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 blah, you know, like they're pouring in and like, and I understand the people in the bands too. You get like a really massive deal. You can sell your records everywhere. You make money. They put you on tour. They do fucking everything. You can get music videos. You know, blah 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 blah. You know. So I understand, of course, the bands too. But still, every time the people like that touch something, it becomes more like no feeling. It's like totally no feeling into it. It's like, we do that, I think you should like do that, you know what I mean? And you have like, I have a really good producer that I think is really good for you, and we will use this song, maybe make that song a little bit slower, and we sell that one first, and yeah, you know what I mean? You can take, always to take, like, I know Immortal has a really great deal, so I think they're not going to be controlled, but but I think that's really bad. Commercial things are bad when it comes to certain types of music. If you're Madonna, it's great. If you're a black metal dude from Sweden or Norway, Denmark, Finland, United States, it's a bad thing. I think it's not good. No. You have like, I really respect Darkthrone for doing that. They won an award in Norway, and they said no, we don't want the award. What the hell are we going to get this award for? We're not like part of this. I really respect that, you know, and I think that's the essence of it. You can live in this underground and be perfectly happy. You don't have to take the step out and sell your soul. Because then you always get like people listening to it because they don't understand the meaning of it. They just listen to it because it's cool. And you always have to have like some respect for it, you know. But they don't have respect for it, I think. They don't understand the meaning of it. So I don't know what's going to happen with it because of course, there's a lot of great bands coming up and down all the time, and I hope most definitely that we're going to get a new wave again of good bands, but I don't know when it's going to be. That's what I feel about that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm out of questions also. You speak so very well, but if you're talking about genres, like some genres like death metal, black metal. I don't think. I think we know the difference, but
yeah.
for the viewers, I think some people get confused the difference between death metal and black metal. Can you explain to me?
Well, I can. Black metal and death metal are probably what you can call sisters in the same family. They're really close related. It's really getting harder to like get the difference between those two. In the older days it's easier because death metal has always been more technical, definitely more technical type of music, more technical drumming, more technical guitars. You have the growling vocal. That's really like maybe that's like what blinks red, you know, with death metal. That's the vocal. Black metal in the sense is more simplistic. I know people say it's really hard to play. Of course, it's not easy to play, but it's not as hard to play as black metal, definitely. Because black metal it started more like death metal was a theatrical thing, where you did something and you did something different when you went off stage, maybe, and you know what I mean. But black metal was probably more like a lifestyle type of thing when it came. Because the thing that made black metal come was that the death metal bands sold their ass to the record companies and the music industry. and that really pissed a lot of people off. And they wanted to do something different, and they made black metal. It was like in the and then I was too young, so I wasn't a part of this. But I think I heard some rumors about people like thrashing Entombed's bus and stuff when they were on tour in Norway, and sending death threats to each other and stuff like that. So it was like really a massive hatred against the commercial. Definitely Entombed, because they really sold like black metal to the world back then. But the major difference these days is still that I think black metal is more, when it comes to the sound too, it's a different sound on them. Black metal is much more, has a lower atmosphere. It's more deeper. It's more like a dark valley. I think maybe you can say black metal if you want to kill somebody. If you want to kill somebody in black metal, it's more like a ritual type of thing. Yeah, like a sacrifice altar and something, and it's like candles and it's more like a serious type matter. And death metal to me is more like, you know what I mean? It's more like more brutal in that sense, more like directly pointed. But musically, it's definitely the technical drumming, technical guitars in death metal, the vocal, and in black metal, you have it started really simple. You know, you had like the blast beat, and that it was like basic black metal beats almost, you know. And then death metal, all the time. But these days, it's really hard because you got like progressive black metal bands. You still hear like a difference, but in Slade, for example, they've become really progressive in the type of music that they have. Emperor definitely always been a progressive band, but they had a special sound on their music that made it different from death metal. So I think it's really hard to explain because you hear it like this when you know it, you know what I mean? But and of course it's like something to do with the tones and stuff, but I'm not like a really good tone person when it comes to explaining scales and stuff. But I think it's got something to do with C or D, or in black metal I just play. So I'm Jimi Hendrix, can't say that. But that's more definitely. And death metal is more it's a bigger thing. But I heard like when it comes to genres, when some people say some people call Slayer death metal, you know. So like in a metal magazine or death metal band Slayer. To me that's like, what's death metal with Slayer? That's like thrash metal. So it's like death metal is really hard to set into a genre, I think, because a lot of people call it death metal. And still there you have the same thing with black metal. If I say Emperor and I say Darkthrone, there's totally totally different bands. They started in the same country, they play the same music, but it's totally different. It's like Obituary, Morbid Angel. It's like totally different, but still it's like they call it death metal. So that's what I can explain about it, the way the genres are different. But I think in black metal now we have 13 or 14 subgenres. Viking metal, like death black metal, thrash black metal, you know, everything like Nazi black metal, blah, 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 you know. So it's really, I can't explain it anymore. It's like totally out of control. But death metal and black metal are totally different in that sense. And then you have to like put a Dayside album on and put an Immortal album on, and then you hear the difference between those two genres, definitely. But it's hard to explain in words without you having anything in the sound, you know what I mean?
Okay, thank you. I want to talk about genres.
Mm-hmm.
What's up?
Måste byta band.